Two football teams, two cities, two legacies that couldn't be more different. On one side, the Miami Dolphins, a team that once stood as a dynasty, the only NFL team in history with a perfect season. Before the story continues, please subscribe, like, and comment for more videos. Thank you, everyone. On the other, the Detroit Lions, a franchise defined by heartbreak, struggle, and yet a fan base that never gave up hope. When these two worlds collide on the gridiron, it's more than just a football game. It's history, it's pride, it's redemption. Today, we dive deep into the epic showdown between the Miami Dolphins and the Detroit Lions. The battles, the controversies, the legends, and the unforgettable stories that make this rivalry one of the NFL's most fascinating underdog tales. In the 1970s, the Miami Dolphins weren't just another NFL team. They were the team. Under legendary coach Don Shula, the Dolphins pulled off what no team has ever matched. The 1972 perfect season. 17 wins, 0 losses, a Super Bowl title, immortality. Players like Larry Kasonka, Bob Greasy, and Mercury Morris weren't just names. They were icons. Miami became the shining example of excellence, a franchise that demanded respect. And even decades later, that perfect season remains a crown jewel of NFL history. But greatness fades, and after their glory years, the Dolphins would struggle, desperately searching for another era of dominance. Meanwhile, in Detroit, the story couldn't be more different. The Lions were once proud champions in the 1950s, but as decades rolled on, they became known for losses, curses, and unfulfilled potential. The 2008 season etched their name in infamy. 0 wins, 16 losses. The first team in NFL history to go completely winless in a 16-game season. But through it all, Detroit had one thing Miami couldn't match: a fan base that stood tall, loyal, and unbroken. And then came their saving grace, Barry Sanders, the most electrifying running back the league had ever seen. Quick cuts, unstoppable runs, a legend trapped in a struggling team. Even though Barry retired too early, his presence gave Detroit hope that one day the Lions could roar again. When Miami and Detroit face each other, it isn't just a game. It's a clash of stories. The dynasty of the past versus the cursed underdog. The all-time record between the two franchises tells an interesting story. The Lions and Dolphins don't meet often, since they're in different conferences. But when they do, sparks fly. Take November 23rd, 2006. Thanksgiving Day. Detroit hosted Miami. The Lions jumped ahead early, but the Dolphins fought back and crushed Detroit 27-10. It was Joey Harrington's revenge game against his former team, and he made sure to embarrass them. Fast forward to 2014, a defensive slugfest. Detroit edges Miami 20-16 with a clutch final drive. Fans were left breathless, and it proved that no matter the records, Lions versus Dolphins was never boring. And then came October 30th, 2022, the most recent matchup. The Dolphins, powered by Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill, battled a tough Detroit squad led by Jared Goff. The Lions came out swinging, but Miami stormed back for a 31-27 victory. Each game tells the same story: the flashy Dolphins versus the gritty Lions. A battle of style, heart, and survival. No great rivalry is complete without its legends. For Miami, it's not just Don Shula and the 72 Dolphins. It's also Dan Marino, the quarterback with a golden arm who shattered records but never won a Super Bowl. Marino remains one of the greatest players in NFL history, his name etched into football lore. For Detroit, it's Barry Sanders. But also Calvin Megatron Johnson, the unstoppable wide receiver who made catches that defied physics. Like Sanders, Johnson retired too soon, but left a legacy that can never be erased. When you line them up, Miami's dynasties and legends versus Detroit's heartbreak heroes. You get a story filled with contrasts. And that's what makes their matchup so special. Ask any NFL fan and they'll tell you. Football isn't just about the players. It's about the fans. Miami fans are passionate, colorful, and love their history. They live for the memories of the perfect season, hoping for another taste of glory. Detroit fans? They're warriors. Decades of pain, and still, they fill the stadium week after week. The Lions' roar may have been silent for years, but their fan base never lost hope. When Dolphins and Lions fans collide, you feel it. It's not hatred. It's pride. It's history. It's the pure love of football. Today, both teams stand at turning points. The Dolphins, with Tua, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, are building something explosive, a team capable of making deep playoff runs. The Lions, under head coach Dan Campbell, have become the NFL's ultimate redemption story. No longer the league's punchline, Detroit is tough, fearless, and hungry for respect. Could the Lions finally shed their cursed history? Could Miami rise back to its dynasty days? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. When they meet again, the world will be watching. So, when the Miami Dolphins and Detroit Lions take the field, remember, it's more than just a game. It's the story of a dynasty versus a dream. The perfect season versus the winless season. Glory versus heartbreak. But here's the question. Which story will define the future? Will the Dolphins reclaim their crown? Or will the Lions finally roar loud enough to silence decades of pain? The answer lies ahead, and football fans everywhere are ready to witness it. Because sometimes the greatest rivalries aren't about hatred, they're about hope, history, and the fight to change destiny.